Listen up. Be you. You got this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Keto, rock stars, stay strong. Be you. Bacon, beef, butter. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto on, stay strong. Be you. Keto rock stars.
Hey, everybody. Hi. Welcome to tonight's live stream. And I have a very special guest, Bryan Airy. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Bryan. How are you doing tonight?
Been wonderful, Amy, and it's a pleasure, and I'm glad you're having me on. It's
I'm
always
so
it's always
excited.
wonderful to get to talk to you.
You too. You too. We've talked. Gosh, I feel we've just met, but it feels like we've known each other forever. Because, like, when we talk, I don't know, I feel that comfortable talking to you, Bryan. You're just an amazing person. And I think everyone here tonight is just going to be blown away about what you've got to say because your story, whoa, it's just, there's a lot there and it's very inspiring. So before we get into that, I have a couple of announcements. And you're in my class. So I wanted to talk about the Rock and Tech Academy. It's not too late for people to sign up. This is a class where I'm going to teach technology. I'm going to teach technology for social media influencers and also for health coaches and just everything that I've learned. I'm going to try to impart that on people. So email me ketorockstars21@gmail.com if anybody's interested in that. It's not too late. And then also if anybody that's struggling with health, and what or I almost said wealth. Don't contact me about wealth. Health, weight management. They're not feeling their best. I am currently taking health coaching clients, and my intro call is free. There's no charge for it. So I'll do a free 30-minute intro call with anybody who just wants to talk for 30 minutes. So also reach out. Okay, that's the end of my commercial. We'll get into that later. Um, Okay, so let's say hi to a few people. We got Carrie's in the house. Welcome, Carrie. Thank you for tuning
Okay.
in. Juju's in the house. Hey, Julie. Hope you're having a good day. And our good friend Ann Schroeder from over at Grandma's Crochet Corner. Hi, Ann. Donna Ray Bacon Runners in the house. Welcome. Alice. Alice is Dean's wife. I believe you were explaining to me about them. Welcome, Alice. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, we came here to listen to Bryan. Amazing guy. Yes, he is. Let's see. Brenda Jones is in the house. Hi, Brenda.
I'm
Sandy
Brenda.
Blythe is here. Ivy's here. Welcome, Ivy. Why Carnivore Explains is in the house. This is Dean. You said this is Dean, right? Hi,
Yes.
Dean. Thank you
Hi,
so
Dean.
much for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. Cynthia's in the house. Welcome. Don Shonger is here. Welcome, Don. Thanks for tuning in. Lynn, 22Q Cat, is in the house. Welcome, Lynn. Kelly, Missouri Carnivore's here. Hi, Kelly.
Hey,
Thanks for
Kelly.
tuning in. Let's see. Um, Everyone saying hi to everybody. Cordelia in Albany is here. Welcome, Cordelia. Aaron Booby Goats is in the house. Welcome, Aaron. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Evelyn, my dear friend from the very beginning, is here. Welcome, Evelyn. Thank you for tuning in. Jerry's in the house. Welcome, Jerry. Love
Hey,
you,
Jerry.
girl. Isabel is in the house. Welcome, Isabel. Brian Dish is here. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Trying to. Angie's in the house. Welcome, Angie. Thanks for tuning in. Gloria Wilder is here. Hi, Gloria. Thanks for tuning in. Carolina Carnivore's in the house. Welcome, Carolina. Thanks for tuning in. Manda's here. Welcome, Manda. Thank you for tuning in. Aaron, the carnivorish guy's in the house. Welcome, Aaron. Thanks for being here. Okay, Nikki Silver Stacker's in the house. Welcome, Nikki. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Sharon's here. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Spanky's here. Thank you. Thanks for sending the smoke our way, Spanky. Those are smoke signals from Spanky in Canada. Welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh. Jerry, you're funny. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody. Deborah This and That is here from Grandma's channel. Hi, Deborah. Okay. Dean, is this Deanna? This is your wife, right? Hi,
No, no.
Deanna. That's not your
There
wife? Is that your wife? Are you?
that's my wife. It's all downhill from now. I might as well just go to
Oh
bed.
no. Oh, he's going to be censored, folks. Don't go to bed. Pumpkin's in the house. Welcome, Pumpkin, from Ponca City, Oklahoma. Therese, listening for Punk. Welcome, Therese. Thank you. Okay. So I'm at the bottom. Bryan, do you care if I share your Facebook post to get started? And
No,
then
that would
we
be
will go
wonderful.
from there. Oh, and Meathead's here. This is Kurt, everybody.
Hi,
Hi,
Kurt.
Kurt. Okay. All right. So, guys, a little backstory to this. Aaron has been posting 365 days on Facebook. He has, and I'll let him talk more about this here in a minute, but he's been making daily posts, 365 days about his journey. And I'm going to read this post unless you want to read it. Do you want me to read it?
No, you.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read this. I might cry, but this was his post. Oh, hold on. Let me get Juliet's off here. Okay. I'm going to read this. Can everybody see this? I'm going to read this because this is just amazing. So his post from yesterday, day 365, part 3 of 3. Finally, I hope you take the time to read this before you jump to the bottom. My why was I want to survive, and now I'm going to thrive. When I started this part of my journey, I was broken. I had been home for about 3 years after pretty much had given up. COVID had taken my ability to walk, think, breathe without pain, and drive. I sat in my chair, and that was it. And the only reason why I didn't give up was Deanna Airy. My weight was going up, blood pressure and blood sugar were going up as well. The pain was horrible and just got worse every day. I said to myself, get to living or get to dying. Thank God for the internet. I started this part of my journey at 474 pounds. The first couple of months were calorie reduction. Then I saw Dr. Boz, which led to the Anita Breeze Ketogenic Women's Group, and it changed my life. I learned how to understand what was going on with me and how to fix it. I will never be able to pay Anita Breeze and the people in her group back. So many of them are my friends now. At this time, I went from keto to carnivore, and I started Dr. Ken Berry's 90-day challenge. Each step, I felt better. I started adding stuff to help me on my path. Meditation, the sauna, and DDP yoga. DDP yoga has been one of the best things that happened to me. It has introduced wonderful people into my life. Valiant Val and so many more. In all of these groups, I've surrounded myself with wonderful people who lifted me up at my lowest point, and I tried to lift them up as well. Which brings us to Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, and Alia Jasmine Wells, and the wonderful group of people that I have the absolute pleasure of meeting. I became a certified health coach with KNT. This was a big step and door for me. When I look back at this year, I'm no longer mad about what had happened, and this is absolutely crazy to me. If I wouldn't have gotten sick, I would never have tried. I would never have worked to get my coaching certificate from Dr. Kiltz. And now I know that I would never have changed my life. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you. Every one of these groups and steps I've taken gave me lifelong friends, my best friends, my friends from my job before I got sick, the friends from Dr. Boz and the Ketogenic Woman Group and Dr. Kiltz and his people, along with all the YouTube and Facebook friends. Why so many people? Because it takes a tribe. You can't do this alone. Thank you, Terry. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Puglizovich, for pushing me. Your kind heart and words kept me in the game and moving forward every day along the way. getting close. I want to thank all of the people who commented on the post and gave thumbs up, hearts, and hugs. What I'm going to do now, I still have a long way to go. I would love to lose another 80 pounds, but I know my body will tell when I need to stop. I put in place what I need to do to achieve my goals. I didn't want to be a coach. I was just doing this for my health. But now I have to pay it forward. I'm going to be a health coach. Woohoo! I'm going to have a YouTube channel and I'm going to write a book on what has happened over the last year, along with my art. I'm going to get it out there. This has been the best year of my life, gave me hope, it gave me new friends, and with that, my numbers. I started at 474 pounds 23 years ago before the gastric bypass. I'm sorry, before the gastric bypass surgery, I was over 700 pounds. That was as high as the scale went at that time. When I started this part of the journey, my diabetes 2 had come back. My A1C was 6.7 and now it's 4.1 and 4.3. Holy cow, that's lower than mine, Brian. It stays around this. That's crazy. My blood pressure has come way down and my arrhythmia has all but gone away. I still have plenty of issues from COVID. Hopefully in a year those will have left the building too. Today, I weighed this morning and I weighed 245 pounds. I'm going to take a break from here for a little bit, but I want to thank everyone that's reached out to me. It has been wonderful watching all of your stories. This is by no way of the great people, but just a few of them that need to be seen. Barb at Grandma's Crochet Corner for a safe place. Keto Rock Stars, Rockin' Coach Amy. Thank you for being a positive influence on so many people. Coach Juliet Edians, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Amanda Mukina, Aaron Booby Goats, for giving us hope for the future. And in the middle of the forest, Jerry, you just made the next stage possible. Thank you, dear friend Thomas Pruitt at Target Prime Rib for my first interview. Lance at North Dakota Carnivore for your consistency and your knowledge. Donna Ray at Bacon Runner for being amazing. You and the carnivorous guy, thank you, Aaron. Missouri Carnivore, thank you, Kelly. Dustin at Keto Simple for sharing the word. This is just a small group of people that can and will inspire you to get going down the right path. Help is always out there. And finally, Danny Hoff for helping get us through. Heaven has a place for you, my friend. Don't ever give up or give in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will have one more post after this. What I have been doing lately. Okay, so let's get into this. I want to show some pictures. This was Aaron. I'm sorry, this was Bryan. I was thinking Aaron Carnivorous guy. This is Bryan. These are his photos. About how much did you weigh there, do you think, Bryan? Was that at 700?
Yeah, I was in 700. I was at 700. That was shortly before the surgery. That was probably 6
And
months
this
before the surgery.
and this
6 and
was on your
7's
wedding
there.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, more wedding day pictures. Is that you in the chair?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't even look like. I mean, you're a totally different person. Totally different person. Uh, so I recognize you there, but still, totally different person. Oh wow! Look at this. How long ago was this? This is you
That
now.
that was 4th of July.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You look amazing. Like, seriously. Look at that, guys. 1% better every day. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. So good. Okay, so everybody gets, those are the photos attached to this, wow, to this post. And I had to share this post. Let me hide this just because we're going to get into your story. That is, wow. I'm choked up and that doesn't happen, right? Okay, so let's start. Have you been overweight your whole life? Have you been overweight like in childhood? When did that
That
happen?
that post right there was one of 3, and each one of the posts deals with the whys and stuff. But I was skinny until the year you were born, 1976, and I had a absolute monster of a teacher. Um, he was verbally abusive to me, and just rotten. It changed my course. And I said in the post that I was so thankful that my classmates. What brought that up was a while back. They were talking about him, and they had different experiences than me. He never did it around other people, and it it made everything absolutely horrible after that. And if you look at my pictures before and after, that's when I started putting on weight, and it some of it could have been also the food pyramid, because 1977 is when everything changed, and that was the year after
Mhm.
that. But I had already started gaining weight then, and when somebody makes you feel invisible, you become invisible. And I stopped putting myself out there basically until, and I hated school. I loved school before that, and then I hated school after that until I was a freshman. I think it was a freshman or sophomore, but my art teacher, Beth DeMont, and she took all the nasty of those memories and erased them and changed my life again. So I can never thank her enough.
That's awesome. So about 10 years old is when it really started happening and you just
Yeah.
kept increasing from there. Um, Tell us about the next big milestone in your health journey. Like,
What do you mean?
so, your early 20s, 30s, you have diabetes, right? When
Yeah.
were you diagnosed with that? When were you diagnosed with diabetes?
Probably, um, I would say probably in the mid to the mid 1990s, 1995, somewhere in there. And um, one of the reasons I pushed to get the gastric bypass surgery was um, the diabetes had come along, the heart stuff had come along, and everything was just starting to break down. Um, the that much weight on your body is horrible for everything, and I still deal with everything from that. Um, Pain, joints, everything. And but the that's really when it happened. And they told me I got married in 2000, October of 2000, and by 2003, they said you're going to have to go on the shot for diabetes. And all of my family, my dad, my sister, my mom. I don't think my mom ever had to take the shot, but our family had diabetes. And I knew the consequences of that and what it would do to your body. And so my work at that time paid for the surgery. So, and there was two other staff members that did it. And so I did it. And that was one of the big, it knocked out anybody that says you can't reverse diabetes is just, they're lying to you. Don't walk away from them. They're not telling you the truth, because I've did it twice. And it knocked out the diabetes, got off all the heart medicine, everything, and was floating around. Well, after 23 years, your body becomes accustomed to that calorie deficit. And even though you have a small stomach, you can figure out how to work around that, you know? Um, and I didn't have the knowledge of everything. I didn't have the computer. Computer was still a baby at that time. And we didn't
Mhm.
have all these wonderful places to go, places to meet, people to talk to. And I would hope that I've talked to Aaron about this. I would hope that I would have given this information, I would have done it or even tried. Um, this is a tool. And I always say that it was the best, worst thing that ever happened to me, because I'll be on certain meds for the rest of my life because of it. But it also at that time saved my life. I figured that I had another 5 years maybe in me. And at that time, I was working full time, and then another 50 hours of overtime on top of that. So um, the
And you
best
were
worst
what,
thing that
30
happened to
maybe?
me.
Was that 20 years
Uh,
ago? Were you like 30 and 30s about
I would
when
have.
you had the
It
surgery?
was 20 years ago. That would put me at right around 40 because I'm 60 now.
Wow.
I
You
just
don't
turned
look
60
it,
this
by the
year.
way.
Thank you.
You look young, you look younger than me and I'm 50. You look like you're in your 40s maybe.
Well, I did theater and I know how to put on makeup, theater makeup to reduce your age. And I've got special
I did.
mirrors.
That's awesome. You did theater. I don't know if you know this, but I was in theater, and I also I'm still in music, so I'm still involved in that kind of stuff. I love it. Love it. Okay, so you had the surgery. Um, I'm gonna ask this question, and you sort of answered it. If you could go back and tell pre-surgery Bryan anything about bariatric surgery, A, what would you tell pre-surgery Bryan, and would you still do it? Would you still do it?
If I had all the tools that I have now and have learned over the years, I would not have done it. I would have tried keto. I would have tried carnivore, and I would have did everything I could fix before I did that. And no, I wouldn't have had that surgery. But also, if I didn't have all the knowledge and everything, I would have done it because it literally saved my life. But it also, it's
Mhm.
it's kind of like Count Dracula. He can't get you unless you let him in the house. And I let him in the house, and I'll have to take B12 multivitamins and everything, and D3 for the rest of my life. I can't stop that. But also, it saved my life. So I can't.
Yeah.
Everything in you can't be mad at what you did. You can only fix it or try to work around it. Now, if I was to have to do it again, I would have done it with carnivore on top of it. But I
Mhm.
100% believe carnivore and ketovore and that thing would have knocked it out, so I wouldn't have had to have done it. But it's like you're guessing and you just don't know. But I also knew that I only had 5 years left because things were starting to break down pretty bad, and um, it's just one of those things.
Okay, we have a
But I
question here.
also
Oh, sorry. Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I
No,
was going to
finish your
say
thought,
that
please.
I was going to say that people that do that surgery now, they can't be minimalized. That would be the same thing that that teacher did to me.
Mhm.
They're human beings, and they need to be lifted up, and everybody needs to be lifted up because if you let the monsters run this show, then we're going to get what we can get.
Mhm. That's a great message. Yeah, and we shouldn't really chastise anybody for having bariatric surgery, for going on a GLP-1, for using the tools, because a lot of these people, they're desperate. They've tried everything that they can do, and maybe carnivore alone isn't working for them, right? Everybody's different, and we're not all the same. We're not all in the same box. And so we shouldn't chastise anyone. We should just support them, understand that that's their personal
Yeah,
decision. It may not be our decision to make, right? But and that's kind of why we had a little bit of a conversation like this before. I'm not going to judge anybody for doing something that I'm not going to do. But that's my personal choice and that's their personal choice, right? And even the vegans, we should welcome people who
yeah,
eat vegetables into this space, because we don't choose to eat that way, but they have the same goal that we have. They think they're doing it to be healthy, or they're doing it for the animals. And
yeah.
those are all this, yeah, well, not the animals, but the being healthy part is the same thing we're trying to do. So we need to really, like you said, lift people up and be
Whole
positive,
Foods.
even if we're Whole Foods, exactly, exactly. Okay, so Manda has a question for you. What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite cut of steak? And what's your favorite way to have it cooked?
Well, That's the strangest thing on this part of the journey. Um, my favorite meal is my wife's meatloaf, and the my favorite steak is ribeye. And what was the and how what's the way you like it cooked? Which just freaks me out because I would always do medium rare or medium well right in there and hover back and forth. And I have found since I've started this way, I really like rare. I like it seared really good on the outside with salt and rare, which just completely different. I've The other weird thing about things is I used to love chicken and pork. Now the only pork I really eat is bacon, and I've lost my taste for pork. Now, if things went south and um, I had to, I would, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
money's been very difficult, and it's forced me to think of ways to do stuff.
Yeah, for sure. As many of us, okay, so you had, okay, did anything happen between the bariatric surgery and let's say 2020? Because 2020 is a big part of your story, but I don't want to
Well,
miss anything that
well,
happened in
I,
between there.
I had the surgery and I got down to 399, and I was going back through my charts because since I got COVID, the brain isn't it doesn't function like it did, so I have to work at things, and I hovered around 395, and then I had got sick with COVID, and I went down to like 365. And but before, in between the surgery and the COVID was, um, I did really good with all the stuff I was supposed to do, and I still do some of that stuff. I don't drink with meals, a half an hour before or a half an hour after, and that's so when you eat, it doesn't flush it down into your intestines. It stays in your stomach for a little bit longer, and
Maybe I need to try that.
but as time goes, you start getting into I don't know, I wouldn't call it a rut, but a uh, what's the word? Like a
Your body gets
consistency.
used to it.
Yeah, your body
Yeah,
gets
your body
used to
gets
it,
used to
and
it.
then it starts doing what it's doing, and um, you start putting on a little bit of weight here and a little bit of weight there, and then you go, well, I need to lose some, so you go back to the standard diet, the restriction diet, and that's what got you there in the first place. You know, if I would have never dieted when I was a little kid, I probably wouldn't. We probably wouldn't be here having this discussion. But the yo-yo, the up and down, and because when I was real heavy, I could lose 100 pounds and no problem. But then I'd gain back 200 pounds, and it happened all the time.
Mm. So, going back to what you just said, is you said yo-yo dieting. What are all of the different diets that you've tried?
Uh, Mainly was the calorie reduction and exercise because that's all I knew about. I didn't know about Atkins. I just didn't, it wasn't in my wheelhouse. And the only time I ever heard about him is that when the media was telling everybody that he was insane and people are dying by the handful, which isn't true, you know. Um, Learning to critically think has changed everything. And now I apply that to every aspect of my life. I look at something and you look at the why, the consequences, and everything. And you can usually figure
Mhm.
out. And a lot of, and this is sad too, is now when I was young, the media reported what happened. They didn't tell you what to think. And now they tell you what to think. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on or what the story is. It's their agenda, and their agenda comes from the corporations that own them because you can see them flip on something in 30 seconds and then 2 weeks they're talking about it again. Don't trust them. Don't trust anybody
Yep.
that's trying to force you in your round peg into a square opening. Don't do it.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to say hi to a few people if you're okay, and then I want to read this comment. We've got Dustin, Keto Simple, Cranky Cutler Carnivore, Many Was here, Diana's here. Hi, Diana. Charlie's here. Holly, Sandy, Josephine, and Lance, North Dakota Carnivore. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, Manda says, Bryan, what a transformation. You look absolutely phenomenal. I'm so incredibly proud of you, my friend. Holy cow. You do.
Thank you, Amanda.
Like, I need your beauty secrets because you look way younger than me.
I
That's
see
so
Amanda
awesome.
all the time and stuff, and now she's on my Facebook, and she is a wonderful person. And
Mm,
just like I said, one of the people, and there's hope for the future. Her
there
and
is.
Aaron, there's hope for the future. You know, it's this is a we're the seed, and you guys are the tree and the branches. You know,
Hmm. Okay. So, I don't know if you wanna, if there was anything else you wanted to talk about. Tell us what happened in 2020.
the first part of 2023, my sister had a stroke, and I had went to see her. And at that point, we were already into the bad time for since 2020. And my
Right.
job, I worked with people with intellectual disabilities, and I'd been in protective gear for almost 2 years and having to work 12 and 16-hour shifts all the time. And my sister got sick and had a stroke. And I'd went to see her, and my brother-in-law, who's a doctor, said I thought it was because my niece's husband had COVID, but he said it would have had to have started earlier. Sorry. Um,
Hmm.
but I got there, and luckily I got a visit with her and see her, and for just like 45 minutes, and then I went back to my niece's house, and I went downhill. I went upstairs and went to bed, and basically was in bed for 3 days. And I said, I've got to go home. And at that point, I was already in kidney failure and COVID pneumonia and all the monsters that it brought. And I took off from Topeka, and they couldn't find me. The drive's about a 5 hour drive from where I'm at, and it took about 8 to 10 hours. And I almost wrecked, and I came to, and in this little town, around somewhere around Jetmar. I can't think of it, but anyway, I made it home and took the rental car to the place and dropped it off. And my friend Diane and my wife came and to get me, and I said, "No, I'm feeling okay. You know, I just need a nice coffee, and I can go home, go to bed." And they both looked at me and said, "No, we're taking you to the ER." And then I was in the hospital for almost a month in ICU for about a week, and my heart rhythmia came back. The diabetes came back. My heart rhythm, they couldn't get it down for almost 4 days. It was in the 200s, and they couldn't get my heart to slow down. And finally, they did. And then they had to do a where they oh chest. They had to drain my chest. I can't. What do they call that? It's where they put a tube in your chest.
Y- Uh, oh, I can't think of the name, but I think
Uh,
my brother had to have something similar. Did you have
yeah,
fluid in your chest,
yeah.
in your lungs?
And
Yeah.
they got my heart to slow down, and then they did the where they pierced my chest to drain the poison.
Drain.
And yeah, and when I say drain, it was drain. The And they did it 3 times. The first 2 times didn't take, and they said, if this doesn't go, we're going to have to rush you into emergency surgery and scrape your lungs. It's where they this happened to my mom when she was sick, and they go in and they literally scrape the poison, the off of your lungs. And I knew that if that happened, that I would be in a much worse place, because at that point I was at 50-50 of surviving. And finally on the third one it took, and it drained 3 of the 750 milligram things of the poison off of my lungs. And then I was in there for a while, and it was horrible too. Is because my hips, I have arthritis on inside the hip and on the ball, and I'm going to have my hips replaced. And being in bed for that long without moving, it just activated everything, and I lost the ability to walk. And the pain, I can't even describe how bad the pain hurt. If you've ever, Kelly's done this, and Jerry's also had to deal with this. The pain, hip pain, is some of the worst pain you can have. It's when you say mind-boggling bad, that's where you're at. So, and
I understand. I've had three hip surgeries, so I totally get it.
And then I got up into a private room, and I was in there for the rest of the time, and they said, okay, you can go, and got out, and I had to go stay at my friend's house, and I was there for 3 weeks before we could get back here to the house. And I was in this chair, and I can't thank my wife enough. Emotionally and physically, she suffered during that time. She probably suffered more than I did, and she saved my life, and I owe her for the rest of my days. So take a breath.
Thank you, Deanna.
Think about all the mean stuff she does when nobody watches. That's all I got to do. That's all I have to do is for me. I know she's somewhere in the back listening. But she saved my life, and I'll never be able to thank her enough. And without her, I wouldn't be in here. I would have passed away in the hospital, or they would have put me in a rest home, because she physically had to take care of me. Everything. And me and Barb were talking about that last night. She took care of everything. And I remember now, little things that come along, and it's like, I remember when I rolled over in the bed for the first time, because you don't think about it, but your legs and your hips are moving, yes, so you can roll over and move. I just had to lay there until they both would get me out of bed and get me in the chair. And if I would have given up, and if I'd got down to the point on the third year where I was depressed, and I didn't want to do anything, but I was depressed, and I knew that, just like when I did the gastric bypass surgery, if I didn't do something, I was going to die. I was going to die in that chair, and I didn't want that. I didn't want my friends and family over my coffin looking at it and going, man, it would have been nice if he would have tried. I didn't want that. I didn't want them to have that memory of me. And I said, get to living and get to dying, or get to dying. And I meant it. If I wouldn't have, and then I started the reduction, or the calorie reduction diet, because that's all I knew, and did really good with that. But then I started going, okay, you did this 100 times. Literally, you did this 100 times, maybe even more. And you're going to gain back everything. And if you gain back another 100 pounds on where you're at right now, you're never going to walk at all. And then I started going, okay, is there anything I can do to help with my brain fog in my brain? And that led me to keto and Dr. Boz. And Dr. Boz has this wild thing called a sardine fast, if you've heard of it. And that led me to Anita, Breeze, and the Ketogenic Woman Group. And they were nice to me. They reached their hand out and pulled me up, and they're another group, Anita and everybody in that group. They talk to me, and that goes back to the abusive teacher, is when people talk to me, you got a friend for life. I'm a ride or die kind of guy. If you're good to me, I'm great to you, build it up every day. And, but they reached their hand out, and they taught me how to do everything. They taught me what I was doing and how to do it and how to think about it. And then that ran into Dr. Ken Berry's 90-day carnivore challenge. And I said, okay, because I I was trying to fix my brain. I'd already lost about 150 pounds by then, somewhere in there, 100, whatever. And I did that and I felt even better. My brain felt better. And, um, and that led to the man, Dr. Keltz and Alia and Dr. Nelson. And they reached their hand out. And I'm still in Anita's group, and I will always be in Anita's group, no matter what. And all those things were people reaching their hand out and not giving up on me, you know? And if you have a friend that needs help, don't tell them, show them, you know? Because if you tell, it's like I was talking to my niece. I said, we were talking about because my mom, dad, and sister passed away, and it's just me, and I have my niece and her kids, and then my wife's brother, sister, and their kids, and my father-in-law. And I can get you to the water, you know. I can lead you to the water, but if you don't drink from water, I can't make you drink from that water. And there's a lot of people that go, well, you know, we just need to do it this way and that way, and they're dogmatic about it. That's not the way to go about this. You'll run off people. And then the I go to enough groups, and I'm sure that I can't see who's all in chat, but I am sure that everybody that I see every day, you start noticing patterns in people. And I just want to get away from those people. I want the good people in my life. I want the people that lift me up. And then that also got me to DDPY yoga, or DDP and yoga. Diamond Dallas Page, he was a professional wrestler, and he broke his back, and he came up with this system, and they said the doctors told him that, no, you're done. You know, you'll never do that. And he won 3 world champions after that, you know.
I want to go into that. But do you mind if we take a quick break to say hi to some people? And there's some
No, that's
people that have been
wonderful.
asking questions. Table the DDPY, because I feel like this is going to be a excellent conversation. Okay. So first of all, I want to say hi to Ida Hambone, Patricia, Josephine, Rick. My dad's in the house. Hi, Dad. And Maritza's here. Okay. And then we've got several questions piling up that I'd really like to address. People, I knew this was going to be a good one. So Grandma's in the house. Hi, Grandma. Curious. I have heard Bryan say he only had 5 years left to live. Did you ever have this talk by a medical professional, or was it a personal feeling that you had, like a premonition or something like that, from
It's
just the way you were feeling?
I never had anybody tell me that. I mean, I had the doctor say, if you don't do something, you know, this isn't going to be a good thing. And I also had a feeling, and I also knew how my body was reacting, because throughout high school, from 4th grade on, um, I how do you say it? I was always heavy, you know, and you adjust and you do stuff, and then you become the funny guy at the party. You do silly things and all of that, but I was always that person. And by the time I got up into the 700s, that picture of being my wife, that's a Halloween picture. And I remember I had to have a costume for that, and nobody has a 700-pound guy's costume, you know, and I'm not wrapping myself in toilet paper. That ain't happening. And so we went, and I got an idea. I said, you know, I'm going to take this magic marker, and any of you that are familiar with Harry Potter, he has a little lightning bolt on his head. I drew that little lightning bolt, and I'll say exactly what I said, so I hope nobody's offended. I said, okay. And I told my wife this, and she laughed, and I still laugh about it. I said, I'm Harry Potter after his life has gone to shit. and and it it kind of it was funny, and it's still funny because I came up on the spot for it. But um it kind of summed it up in a weird way, is when you have time to go back and think about it. Yeah, you've got yourself into this situation, all poor choices, and you let other people control you, and when you don't feel a part of the team, it's a horrible feeling. That's another thing. When I get in here, I try to say hi to everybody, and
Mhm.
because I've been in groups where nobody says hi to you. You go in and you
Mhm.
say hi and wave, talk and stuff. Nobody says hi to you. It's crickets. You can hear crickets. So then you just sit there and you listen and you go on to the next one. And that happened for a while. But I think persistence outwon, and me saying hi and bugging and pestering people, they started going, okay, if we say hi, maybe you'll leave us alone. and, but there's so many people that it's all going back to the tree, is we have to plant that seed so that tree can grow, and then it'll branch out and it'll have leaves. But if you chop that tree down, there's not going to be no more tree, no more nothing. Say hi, reach out. It's like
Mhm.
Anita's group. I went to a live, I went there because of the sardine challenge and stuff. And Anita has like, she has a book on the sardine fast, egg fast, and she just wrote a cookbook that's coming out in October. And also, Chris Cooks Nashville also has a book coming out at
Yep.
the same time. So anybody that says, "Oh, carnivore is just meat and all this," it's not. There's other choices that you can do it.
Mhm.
You just have to find where you're at on your journey to see what you want to do, because this can be done. It's the easiest thing in the world, and it can be done. You don't have to make it hard. You can add stuff, you can do stuff, but also your body's going to tell you where you're at and what you need to do. So, but okay,
Yes,
I
that's awesome.
derailed myself. What were we talking
Okay.
about?
About you
Oh,
already answered her question. Okay, so we
yeah,
have
okay.
another question this is from Dean, right? Have you seen an improvement in your sleep?
Uh, when I'm fasting, the ketones are in me, and a lot of ketones, and I don't sleep very well. Sometimes I sleep, but I worked nights. The 27 years, I only worked maybe a year during the day during that time period, and that was overtime on top of my night shift. But I worked nights, and so my sleep is generally about 3 hours, and it's always been that way unless I'm sick. And if I'm sick, it can be 24 hours where I don't move, don't do anything. And my wife comes in and checks on me just to make sure I'm okay. But yeah, sleep sometimes and sleep not sometimes. Usually I'll get up.
Mhm.
If I can't sleep, I'll just, because uh, with my back, my neck, and my hips, uh, that's made sleep even harder because you have to roll and stuff. And I'll get up and just sit in the chair and draw. So,
That's awesome. Yeah. So, Kelly from Horizon Crochet, we know her from Grandma's channel. Hi, Kelly.
hi,
What
Kelly.
what what did you do to distract your mind from grabbing food while taking on your new lifestyle? They say we make 1,000 choices about food a day. It's hard to win 1,000 times.
Actually, it was the easiest thing in the world. I didn't want to die, and I knew that that's exactly where I was going. If I wouldn't have, if I wouldn't have reached my hand out and somebody would have not grabbed it, I wouldn't be having this conversation. Most likely, at this point, I would be in a rest home or passed away. So, uh, death is a hell of a motivator.
Yes, it is. Let's see. This is from Deborah, also from Grandma's. We have a lot of
Hi,
friends from
Deborah.
Grandma's. Brian, what does a day of eating look like for you, and what do you drink?
uh, right now, I'm having some iced coffee. And I'm gonna have to wean off that. I don't think it does anything because I've tested and everything, and all my numbers the same. It doesn't change any of my numbers. But what do I eat in a day? Well, I when I first started on the keto and ketovore and stuff, I was listening to too many things. I was flopping
Mhm.
around. I wasn't sticking to something. And we had a Zoom meeting in Anita's group, and they said Tina was one of Dr. Ba, or is one of Dr. Boz's health coaches, uh,
Mhm.
and she said, um, protocol hopping, and I hadn't thought about it. It's like, okay, this isn't working. I've did this for a week. I've got to try something new. And I was like a fish out of water flopping around. And once they said that, I went, oh, you know, 30 days or 90 days. Because if you're flopping around, you're not going to fix anything. But I eat twice a day now. And I wasn't getting enough protein in at first because of the gastric bypass surgery. If I could do OMAD, I'd do OMAD in a heartbeat. But I can't get enough food in me
Yep.
and enough protein and fat. So I eat twice a day now. And it took a while. And I do intermittent fasting too, where I do a 6-18. And Tina also talked about Dr. Boz. She asked Dr. Boz, and she lowered her eating window, her time. And I did that. And that was like a light going off and helped. But I eat my largest meal in the morning. And when Dina's going to work, I usually at 8 o'clock, I'll have all the steak, eggs, bacon. And then the second meal will usually be a smaller meal, can of sardines, eggs, bacon, that kind of thing, or fish. And that's what
Mhm.
I do now because I can't do 3 meals in that time period. The gastric bypass changed that. But if I wouldn't have had the gastric bypass and got to this point, I'd be doing OMAD.
Yeah, that's yeah, that makes sense about the not being able to do one meal a day because of the surgery. Amanda also says, Bryan, your wife is a rock star. Both of them are rock stars. So thank you, Deanna, for taking such good care of Bryan.
She hasn't beaten me to death yet or shot me in the at night.
Hey,
So
no
everything's good.
violence.
Yeah,
You're funny.
when she's got me cornered, I'll go ahead and say no violence, no violence. Amy said so.
Yes. That's so funny. Jerry says, I think you covered this already, but cover what is your was your profession, and do you ever want to get back to that?
Physically, no, because uh it's one I can hear my wife laughing in the background. Um physically, physically, what I did was I did direct care. I did what my wife did with me. And
Mhm.
emotionally it was hard because I worked with the older clients, and I've had 10 or more people pass out or pass away in my arms, and it took its toll over the years. And now I did that. I did it for 27 years, and if I wouldn't have got sick, I'd still be there. I'd still be doing that. I love that job. I love the clients, and my coworkers. But I want to try something new. And the at the end of that post, I said, I when I first started the coaching course, I uh, I was just doing it for myself. And
Mhm.
then Jerry got me up on her panel one day, and everybody just started eating at me. And I went, you know what? I want to be that hand that reaches out, and I want to be a coach now. I still have a lot to learn and a lot to do before that happens, but I've started the process. Amy's tech course, because uh, when I first got on today, yeah, it was going, okay, I've made this thing fuzzy and I don't know how to get out of it. Uh, I'm from the 80s. Our computers were MS DOS and little numbers, not exciting. And the which is wonderful now is because everything's a lot easier, but I'm still a boob and it's going to take me a while to get it figured out, and I'll get it. But I want to be a health coach. I want to help people. I want to be that hand that reaches out to that person that had a crappy teacher that abused them, or somebody abused them, you know, and I want to
Mhm.
make things right for them. I want to be the hand that helped. And
You're gonna you're gonna be an awesome
the
coach. You really are. You're so inspiring.
Thank you. So are you. Um,
Oh,
Seeing you, everybody in here that I've seen pop up, uh, Barb, Grandma, you're a page in my life book. you know, and I'll read that book until the day I die.
That's awesome. Thank you. So Dean has another question. Have you noticed a difference in cravings?
Uh, yes. When I started eating, going from keto, I was only at keto a little bit because with my brain, it was really hard for me. I didn't, I couldn't put my hand around it. And I thought, and then I saw Dr. Barry's thing, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to add back some stuff, and I want to eat salads on occasion and stuff. And I did it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to eat, and I've never been so sick. It just the greens just did not work. You know, I can have on occasion some asparagus wrapped in bacon, but a salad, no. You know, and why, just like food is a memory, and if it's a good memory, you want to keep doing it no matter what, because it brings back in your brain, it's causing the stuff that adds pleasure, you know. It's like
Mhm.
your memory of your, I saw somebody the other night ask if you could go back to any time, and I would go back to my grandma Aries macaroni and cheese, and my grandma Klein's goulash, and my mom's meatballs and spaghetti, and my sister's tuna salad. And I would still do it now. And I know that it would make me sick, but if I could have that moment back, you know, but you can't. And if I repeat it, I can make all that stuff. I used to love to cook, and and I want to get back to that place when I can walk and stuff and stand up, and for longer periods, I'll start doing that again. But
You will. You will. I'm
carn
praying you will.
but carnivore, when you eat a bunch of meat, I don't want to eat anything. I don't want to eat. Yeah, there's sometimes that I go, okay, I'm done, and that was the one meal I ate, not the second meal. And other times I go, okay, I can eat a horse now, and I can do this. But a lot of it's the getting the protein and the fat in, I think, and just the meat. It
Mhm.
does something to your body. It slows everything down, and um, you get satiated pretty quick. You know
Mhm.
where you're at, and the sad diet, you don't. You just sit there and you can eat for days and just keep on grazing.
Mhm. It's insane. Like holidays, you ever notice how much we used to stuff our face and then every time we pass the table we'd grab some more cookies
Yeah,
or whatever? It's like you can't possibly still be hungry after eating everything we ate on a holiday, right? But
9 hours until the second meal at the holiday. You know, you had the big meal, and then
mm,
you had food on the
yeah.
table, and
Well,
everybody did it. And then you went out and you sat with the older guys with their hands in their pants watching football until they fell asleep. That's what you did. Everybody did it.
Amanda says Brian, of course, is a rock star, no doubt.
Thank you, Amanda.
And she says, Brian, hell yeah, death is a huge motivator. That's how it's so easy for me to stay strict on carnivore. I can't walk, dress myself, so routine things off of carnivore personally. So routine things off of carnivore personally.
Yep.
You know a little bit more about Amanda than I do. So you know her
He's
story.
wonderful. Yeah.
And Deanna says, don't listen to him. He's a goober.
So I
Sorry.
told you.
I And Evelyn, this is my dear friend. I don't know if you know Evelyn or not.
Yeah.
I met her at Keto Palooza. She says death and pain were my motivators too. I stick with it for the mental health benefits. Worth it. Totally worth it. I agree. Okay, so I want to go back to the DDPY conversation.
Okay.
Tell us about DDPY, what it is, and how you got into it and how it's helped you.
Well, 13 years ago, I when I was working nights, nights have what? Info commercials that make you want to buy stupid stuff that you don't need. And a video came on, and it was this guy. He was in a back brace, knee braces, and everything, and he was walking with two arm canes. And they showed him during the period of time going from that to falling on his face, he recorded everything. And to at the end of the video, he was running. And his name is Arthur Borman. Look him up. It's one of the greatest life stories I've ever seen. And I said, I've got to do this, because, being sick, heavy, everything. And I said, I've got to do this. And I didn't jump on it right away. And then you get to thinking, that's too good to be real. It's fake, and then you talk yourself out of it and you poo poo it. And I did. And then I'd started this process and that same video popped up. And I went, okay. And I looked it up and there's thousands of wonderful stories, thousands of people that have been helped. And DDPY is 3 pillars: nutrition, mindset, and exercise. And they meet you where you're at. And I couldn't walk, and I was going, I'm not going to be able to do that. And I can't even stand up without the walker. But it goes from bed to chair, stand, and then beginner. And then it goes from there on up, all the way up to like the red workouts. And the inspirational stories in that post on Facebook, Valiant Val, they used to have, and it's changed over the years, but they had champions, and her story is incredible. Pam's story is incredible. And the people I'm in there with now are just incredible. And I was also worried because I don't do the nutrition pillar because I'm on carnivore, and I thought, okay, can I do that? And Val and Pam said, no, get in there and do it. And in the main program, twice a year, they have a university and it's free with your course. And I always say, do the app because there's support groups in there and groups that lead. But the Transformation University is 5 months and it's more intense, Zoom meetings, seminars, classes, everything. And I started going and I didn't listen to my body, and my hip said, okay, we're done. And it just derailed me because I was working out a lot and loving it. And I thought, I'm going to have to quit. And Val and Pam said no. And Candy, she's another wonderful story. And she's one of the leaders. And they said, you can go back to where you started and work up. And I've had to do that twice now. And now I'm from the bed to the chair. I'm back in the chair doing the chair exercises. And in 5 months, I want to be walking. I can stand up now. And 5 months ago, I couldn't stand up without my hand on that walker, with my hip and the fear of falling. I fell about, it's probably been a month and a half ago. And if Dina wouldn't have been home, I would have been in some real trouble. We were talking about that last night, is that there's a reason for everything. And I had tripped. I didn't have my phone with me. I always carry my phone because it's a lifeline. If something goes wrong, you can reach out. And Dina had to go back to work. She was with me for a long time because she had a lot of time built up, and she had to go back to work. And I got comfortable, and I said, I'm going to get up and go over there and get that. And I tripped on my walker and I went over backwards, and I landed on 2 5-gallon water bottles, almost knocked the TV off of its stand. And then she heard me and came running and grabbed me before I rolled off and went on the floor. And if you know what a water bottle looks like, yeah, it was painful sitting down on it. And, but also I look at that as a blessing too, is that if those 2 water bottles wouldn't have been there, I would have went over directly and sat down from 4 or 5 feet, which could have easily broken my back, and I'd be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'd still be in the hospital actually, or a rest home. So I think that your path there's a reason for everything. I don't believe in random anymore. I used to be,
I agree.
And I don't anymore. I believe that everything, that we're part of the one. And I don't believe in chaos anymore.
I agree. I agree. I want to say hi to a few more people. Uh, Charlie, Darth Carnivore. Welcome, Charlie. Hopefully,
Hi,
I'll see you in
Charlie.
a few weeks in Indy. Bill Cook is in the house. Coach Angela and Dan, Danivore podcast is in the house. Welcome, guys. Okay, so I got a
Was
couple more
that?
comments pending.
Oh, going back to the DDP real quick.
Yeah,
Um, Go to Val's page and look at her story, and then they'll bring up other stories. And with our group, you need to be exercising. You don't have to be lifting weights and running and all that, but you have to be moving because the everything changes and you have to keep your muscles up, especially if you're getting older.
right. Yeah, I need to check that DDPY out because I have a from all of my hip surgeries, I have a severely weakened left leg, and I really need to work on strengthening that because they say as you age, the strength of your legs is going to determine your longevity as you age.
100%.
So Deanna says, "I'm so proud of him. When you love someone, everything you do for each other is a labor of love. We he helps me as much as I help him." That is so awesome. I had to read that comment. And then Evelyn shared, I believe this is Arthur Borman's story, maybe. Here's a video of his journey. And Dean asks, have you had a hip replacement? Just wondering. I had both hips replaced.
And I'm going to have both my hips and most likely both of my knees replaced. Um, I talked to my doctor. I had a doctor's appointment the other day, and I talked to him about it. And I said I wanted to get down to my lowest weight and have everything in place before that, unless it falls apart, and then I have to. But the less weight I have on me, and the stronger I am, and the better muscle and my lungs. That's another thing from the bad time is it messed with my lungs. If I sneeze or if I cough, it's like somebody hit me in the chest still, and it's my doctor said most likely it's scarring from the pneumonia.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, okay. Does your family and friends support this lifestyle? How do they feel about it? Obviously,
My
Deanna does.
friends,
We know that.
my friends, I have three friends. I mean, I have more than that, but I have my best friends, and yeah, they I talk to them pretty much all the time, and pester them to do it, but they've got to find their own way. And they're going to be watching this later. I haven't seen any of them on here, but they'll be watching it. So yeah, they're chumps.
Uh, okay. So this is something I've been dying to ask you because those people who know me know that I go to sleep with. This sounds very bad. I need to rephrase this. I fall asleep listening to Grandma's Crochet Corner every night. That almost took a bad turn, but okay. I fall asleep listening to Grandma's Crochet Corner, and you were on there one night, and I think I woke up at 2 a.m. I'm like, what did he just say? And it was something to effect of if I'm watching a creator and this thing happens, I run the other direction. And can you explain to us what it is that turns you off about some of the bigger creators or some things that you see with creators on
Well,
social media?
when you start putting content out to raise money, you've kind of lost the point. And I've noticed over the years, there's some creators that do some wonderful stuff. And I understand completely that you have people on your payroll, you have people making those videos, editing them, and
Mm,
everything. But when I'm into a video for 5, 10 minutes and you realize it's just a commercial, it's disheartening and it it makes me question why I'm watching you. Um, but I know that people have to do some stuff to do that, and I understand that. And then I also really bothers me, and I've heard Rick talk about this too on his stuff, is paywalls. You get in there
Yeah.
and you're in there free and doing stuff, and everybody's doing wonderful, and the channel's growing. And then they say, well, if you want our content, you're going to have to pay for this, and pay for this. And I'm going, I'm on disability and
Right.
I'm on a limited budget, and I have to make everything work, and I have to leave that channel even if I'm on your thing. But and I know that you have to make money, but there's better ways of doing it, I think. And we got to come
I
up
do
with some
too.
way. Um,
I do too.
one of the things I don't mind one bit, because if you get on there and they hit you with the product right off the bat and they let you know, I'm good with that. Or like Dr. Robert Sivas, I love watching his stuff too. Uh, when his thing on, it has a little thing that goes across the screen letting you know how long the commercial is and everything, and then he goes about what he's doing. I don't have a problem with people making money, and I wish more people would make money. I wish I'd make some money, but
Hmm.
I don't care. I don't. But when it affects me, it makes me sad, because I know that, and some of them have wonderful stuff to say, you know,
Hmm.
just wonderful stuff. But the money gets in the way and it
It
changes
does.
them. I'm sorry, money changes people. And
It does.
somebody somebody was talking about the lottery and going, "Oh yeah, I'd win," and I saw this stuff. Well, look at the lottery. You look at the people, those shows that talk about previous winners, they were miserable before they won the money. And guess what? They're miserable after they've lost it all and had it. It Your
Exactly. It
character
doesn't
and your,
change
yeah, it doesn't
things.
change anything. It just adds a new tax bracket.
Hmm. Really. I love that. I just love that. When I heard that, I'm like, and Christy and I've really been like, what's really been triggering me lately is, and some of this is from working with clients too, is, sorry, I have to take a deep breath because this just really gets me going. But when I'm working with people or I'm talking with people or I'm trying to help people and they're like, well, so and so says this, but so and so says this, and I don't know who to listen to anymore because and some of these people, like I used this example on the interview with Christy at Meeting Wellness. Some of these people are chasing algorithms too, not just
Yeah,
commercials and money. Well, it is money ultimately because the only way to ever make money on YouTube is to chase algorithms, talk about controversial stuff. And you have to figure out what's controversial at that point in time, not what's controversial about 6 months ago. So that's why people are like, are you going to do a video on GLP-1s? No, I'm not doing a video on GLP-1s. I have friends who use them. I have friends who are against them. I'm not touching that topic, but that'll get you a lot of likes and clicks. So I don't care. And, it's like this, like, I don't know, a year ago, everybody was doing that sugar diet or whatever that was. And they were jumping ship on keto and carnivore. And then they came right back to keto and carnivore. What do you think that was about? That was about likes and clicks and chasing
money.
the
Yeah,
algorithms.
yeah.
And it's like, it's
And
really sad to me.
several of them had consequences from that. You know what? Um,
Mm-hmm.
that it took them months to repair what that does. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the stuff I have learned, and especially with the Dr. Keltz's course, is that you can say, oh, I take away all the stuff, but you're still eating the stuff that's making you sick. And I don't want dementia or Alzheimer's, and especially with the brain fog and the stuff from the bad time. I'm doing everything to make my brain work. Uh, and then you hear somebody on there, well, I'd never do that. That's just silly. Well, maybe for you. And then you ask them, it's like, if you ask somebody, did you ever try that? No, but I don't like it. How do you know if you didn't try it? I will try
Right.
anything, just as long as it isn't, I'm allergic to it or something, or if it just doesn't make sense for me. But saying something and not doing it or not knowing anything about it is insane. It's okay. Let's use this for an example, like sardines. Well, I just hate sardines. Well, you hate sardines because you've heard everybody on the planet go, "Ugh," and it's we're a herd animal. And if
Mm-hmm.
everybody is in line with hating it, guess what? you're going to go, well, okay, I'm a herd animal. I need to get in there and hate it too. I love sardines and I didn't listen to anybody, you know? And you can make anything work. And if you can't do sardines, you can do mackerel. If you can't do mackerel, you can do eggs.
Hmm. Right.
And if you're going to complain about everything and not do anything about it, you're part of the problem. You know, you're going to be that person that didn't reach your hand out. Reach your hand out. Change somebody's life. It's all you got to do. It's easy.
Well, and I gave in the graduation speech for the graduation I was in, I gave a speech and I said, now that we have the knowledge and the power, we are obligated when we see somebody suffering to at least try. I mean, to at least give
Yeah.
them the information, set an example. If we don't, we're failing our friends, our family. You know what I'm saying? We can't make anybody do anything, but we can at least gently try to help them, right?
You can give
In
them the
some way.
book.
We're obligated. Yeah.
You can give them the
Yep.
book. And another thing, I mean, you go all the way back to the simplest thing. Say hi in the group chats because I see all of you in all of the different groups. And don't be dogmatic. Dogmatic kills joy. It ruins everything. And don't, I like to say that, you know, some people I go to, but when people start constantly talking about, no, that's stupid, I don't do that, you know, I'm not saying you have to. It's like testing. I test my ketones and my glucose, and but I don't do it every day. I don't think that there's any need to do it every day. But I test when I'm fasting because I want to see where I'm at, what I'm doing, and but if you got somebody going, that's stupid, that doesn't work. Oh, well, you know, you're wrong for one, and you've got a platform. You're sharing that. So me, when I came in at a year and a half ago or whenever, would have looked at you and go, okay, he says not to do that, and he's famous or he's popular.
Right.
You're destroying people. Stop it. Stop it. You know, be the person that
That's great.
reaches your hand out. It's easy. Say hi. Does it cost anything to be nice? No. Does it cost you anything? It doesn't even cost really any time because you're there anyway, you know?
Hmm. Exactly. I want to read this comment from Ivy. She says, my obese daughter is my why. I'm hoping that she will open her eyes to what she's doing to her body. Over 300 pounds since she's 16. I asked our doctor to help her with a CGM, and she said it's not necessary. That's sad. That's really sad. Prayers to your daughter, Ivy, and maybe by exposing her to what you know over time, um, you know, just expose her and maybe it'll catch on eventually, you know. So prayers
Uh,
there. It
Ivy, is she at your house? Does she live with you? And um, subtly change your environment, you know? Um, that's one way without like getting in her face about it. But, and then change the environment if you've noticed that there's something going on, and that might be a good way to get her started on the path.
right. Yeah, so yeah, that's great advice. And we got Kelly saying, Brian
Hi,
is an
Kelly.
awesome guy. What an incredible story to hear. So proud of you. Sometime in the near future, I want to take a road trip to Kansas to meet you in person. That'd be awesome. And then Jerry, the entrepreneur, is like, do consider getting a buy me a coffee link. Well, just so you know, Jerry, that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about in the class. So I'm going to show everybody how to get a buy me a coffee link and set that up because it's a great way for people to support people like Brian, myself, Jerry, and you don't need to even worry about being monetized on YouTube because they take 40% of it anyway. And so from day one, that's what I'm going to teach in my class about being a YouTuber or anything, a coach, anything. Get a buy me a coffee link. You don't have to ask for money. You don't have to feel bad about it. You could put a little thing on your screen and you don't ever have to talk about it, and people will support you. So, yes, Brian, you need to consider getting that. I agree. And Amanda also says, exactly. My other sister Robin has been texting me all even, asking me questions about starting carnivore. That's 2 sisters now. I'm so excited. So I love this, Amanda. My sister, who's I thought was your age, Brian. My sister, who's 6 years older than me, so she's 56. Because you look so amazing. She actually got me started on keto almost 10 years ago. She tuned me on to Dr. Barry, who we all know and love, and she tuned me into Marie Emmerich. And I had done, what is that, Atkins 20 years ago. So I'd known. I knew. I just didn't know there was a newer version of it, right? And she got me started. And my older sister, I don't think she's watching, but she comes into these live streams. She isn't totally like carnivore, but she is like, I would say, in the low carb community. And my dad, who is watching, at least he was commenting earlier, he had some heart issues going on, and now he is, I would say, strictish keto. So my mom says he still has to eat vegetables. But being that there's a new like parasite going on vegetables, I'm like, do you really need to eat the vegetables? They're not good for you because they're spreading this parasite stuff. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, if you see how vegetables and stuff, and if you don't have a farmer doing the right thing, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, and the only thing that I can think of is the way that these parasites and stuff, you never see people getting parasites and E. coli for meat, do you?
No.
I mean, Dr. Kiltz dry ages his meat for how long? Like 90 days or something, and he eats it raw and he doesn't get sick. So I can't do that. I'm sorry. I don't know. Do you eat raw meat, Brian?
I tried a little piece and the texture was just weird. It was strange. It tasted like a cold roast, and I'd never done that before. But I said, I was sitting there processing some stuff and getting it ready to vacuum seal it, and Dina said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I want to try this," and she said, "You better not do that, or I'm gonna beat you up." and and so I did it, and it wasn't horrible. I didn't have any salt to add to it. But I've also never had dry aged beef, and you never know; it might be the greatest thing in the world. But I love Dr. Keltz in the morning when you're sitting there and he reaches around, grabs a big old tomahawk, and he's sitting there gnawing on it. He kills me. And Allie is so nice. And Dr. Keltz, or he'll sit there and visiting and lifting weights and doing all sorts of stuff, and then I'm amazed that he hasn't figured out how to do stuff, a surgical room right here where he can just turn around and reach back around. He's the greatest guy ever. I would
It's
do anything for
hilarious.
him. Him and Allie and Dr. Nelson, I
Me
would do
too.
anything for them. They
Me
changed my
too. Me
life.
too. Me too. For sure. Yes. I would do anything too. But it is funny. He was on my live stream and I was talking about exercise and working out, and then he literally turns around and grabs like it starts doing lifting weights right on the screen. I'm like, it threw me off for a minute because okay, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not really an early morning person, so I missed a lot of the lives. The only time I would not set my alarm for Kiltz. I love you, Kiltz, but the 9 o'clock a.m. works better for me because I'm a late night person. And so I guess I wasn't used to that, like him just like multitasking while you're being interviewed by him. And I'm just like, okay, he's doing this now, right? But it's fun. I love him to pieces. And it doesn't even phase Alia. It's hilarious. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, Deborah says, and all we can do is plant a seed. Plant a seed, for sure. And I truly believe in my heart that that is all, we all have a response. Now, let's take what Bryan said here. That doesn't mean we go and be dogmatic about it and shove it down everybody's throat.
Nope.
You can sometimes just being an example, like just not even words, but just being an example, just people see your transformations, right? And sometimes that's enough.
If I can do
Sometimes that's
this,
enough.
anybody can do this, you know? And that's another thing. And we talked a little bit about this earlier is stop putting asterisks on people when they lose weight. Don't, like if they have to use a GLP-1 or gastric bypass surgery or a sleeve or whatever, stop putting an asterisk on them. Stop making it so that's how they did it. Well, you know what? They lost the weight. And all those things are a tool.
Yep.
And if you take care of your tool, you keep it clean. I used to garden. If you keep your tools clean, they won't rust, you know? And making fun of people on here, if you're doing that, just go away, you know? Or if you're going into other chats and talking about people that aren't there, we don't need that. I don't know anybody that
Mm-hmm.
wants to listen to that. Just go away, you know? Life's too short to be nasty. We've been given a certain amount of time and we have to fill our life books and the pages of that book with good things,
I
wonderful things.
agree. I agree. Sorry, I'm just laughing at Jerry's comment. I'm not laughing at you. You're saying something very worthwhile. But
I
she said, "Yum, a glyphosate crunch diarrhea bowl. Eat up, Spanky." Joke. Sorry, that's what made me chuckle.
uh,
Well,
she
that's
attacked
okay.
Spanky.
Yeah. Well, Spanky throws himself out there sometimes. I
He
think
has
sometimes
it.
he likes the attention.
Spanky has it coming. His whole business about not liking sardines. I, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe him.
Uh, we got to keep working on him. We'll get him to eat a sardine. I love sardines. I have not done a sardine fast though, just because I don't know. I mean, okay, so let's talk about that. You've done sardine fasts.
Yeah.
Tell us your thoughts about that and what the benefits are.
Um, when I first did one, it was with Dr. Boz. And then I saw Anita had a video and I went over there and it's led me to everywhere I've been. And I wasn't for sure if I was going to like a sardine. I hadn't eaten sardines for 30 years. I'd had some when I was young and I times passed so far that I don't remember. And I was going, okay, all these people are doing this stuff. What if you buy that can of sardines and you can't do it? Then what? And open it up and I was going, that's not bad, you know? And I didn't listen to anybody before I did it. I wasn't influenced by anybody. Um, I just did it. And I did the sardine fast and I felt great. I wasn't testing my numbers at that time, but I felt
Mhm.
great. And one of the things is it takes away inflammation, you know, uh, and it's a good way to break a stall. But also, when I first started fasting, I thought, okay, I'll fast and lose weight. That's how I can do that. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, you do the 3 day fast and you lose 5 pounds, and it's the greatest thing since sliced cheese. And then you turn around, well, I'll do a 10 day fast, you know, or whatever, and you don't lose anything. And but also, you're not thinking, do I feel better? Is my clarity? Because them little ketones get up in my brain and it's kind of, I was talking to Donna, I think, about this. It's kind of like a runner's high, and it's probably the exact same thing, but you're clear, and I can think, and I don't break down. Before I started this, when I first got home from the hospital, uh, I couldn't hold a conversation for more than 15 seconds. Couldn't do it at all, and sometimes after talking to somebody for 30 seconds, I'd have to go lay down for an hour. So, but
Wow.
the sardine fast now, the longest one I did was 21 days, and my Dr. Boz ratios were the best during the last 2 week or a week and a half of that, and they were in the low teens, and I had a 10. So
I had a
with
7 on my last Dr. Boz
yeah,
ratio, but I don't know if you knew, I didn't eat for 3 days. I did a 3-day
yeah,
fast, and my glucose was 53. My ketones were like 7 or something
yeah.
like that. Like, and I didn't feel good. I'm going to be honest with you. I had a bad, so I'm wondering if I would do better on a sardine fast, just
I wanted
because
to
you're
talk to
actually
you.
eating.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that when you were talking about that time, but it didn't work out. And but I was going to suggest try a sardine fast, and also doing a
Hmm.
regular fast. Never jump into a long fast because you see somebody on here going, "Oh, it's the greatest thing. It's perfect." Don't ever
I've
do
done
that.
2-day fasts.
Yeah,
I've
do
done
it
I've
20.
done 2-day fast and felt great, but then I thought I was feeling so great, I'll just go one extra day, and then the adding that extra day, and I talked to Louis, Louis Lotito,
Yeah,
and he says I've had bad fasts before. He's like, don't give up on it. He's like, you can do
yeah,
another one, and he's like, you may be fine the next time. He's like, it just
yeah.
might have been that specific
Oh,
one.
I've had fast. I was talking to a friend today, and I said, I had a, I had a wonderful fast. Me and Lance from North Dakota Carnivore.
Hmm.
Every Monday night, he has a live and helps with everything. And we've been doing 72-hour fast every week, and I think I'm on week 4 of it. And but the first week I felt like a rock star. Everything's working, the brain's working, just feeling perfect. And then the next week felt horrible and wanted to eat, wanted to do silly things, and my numbers were high. And then the third week, perfect again. So yeah, never give up on something. But I always
Hmm.
say to people now is when I went to Dr. Boz, I just jumped in. And then the next live I saw, she says, "Don't do that." And I said, I wished I would have saw that. And um, build up, do 24 hours
Yeah.
a week for a
I
month.
love 20 I love 24-hour fasts. Honestly, I think if I did 24 hours every week or every other week, just because when I fast, I have a lot of joint pain even on carnivore. I'm
Yeah.
working through this, right? And
The
and
I
and, and my inflammation goes away and I feel amazing, right?
Yeah.
When I don't eat.
Try
That's why I like
try
it.
that with the sardines. And when you do that, I don't use seed oils anymore. I got into a
I
can of
can't.
sardines a while back, and it tore me up. I didn't read the can, and it was from one of the brands that I've known that they always use expensive X. I mean, it was an expensive can, and I saw it and said, "Oh, I better try this." And so I ate it, and the next day I was going, my hands are hurting, my back's hurting, my hips are hurting, my knees are hurting, my ankles hurting, and my neck's hurting. And I went, something's wrong. And I don't know if I would have known that a year ago, but now I've learned that there's a reason for everything. And I went back and I found that can. I dug it out of the trash and I read it, soybean oil. And I went, oh man.
Yep.
And the bad thing is those are fairly expensive cans for before this shortage, and I've got 2 more of them. And I said, these are just going on the shelf as decoration. I'll never have them again. And but if you're going to do sardines, butter. The French have wonderful butter sardines. They're stunning.
Yeah.
And but extra virgin olive oil or olive oil,
Mhm.
stay away from the seed oils. They bring
Yeah.
nothing but pain. And
I can't have them. I get pain too from seed
yeah,
oils. Every time I eat at a restaurant, I hurt for
yeah,
weeks.
yeah. And try the sardine fast. And I can't guarantee it 100%, but 99% you're going to feel better. And I know I've had conversations with it. You like sardines.
I do, but that's one of my worries. I feel like I'm gonna get sick of sardines. Like I'm gonna be
That's
like gross.
that's in your head. And going back to a huge content provider, um, and she made a video about it. Well, she didn't need to do that for the reason you're doing sardines. And then Dr. Boz had her on, and they discussed it. And I think that really helped. But also, it wasn't until the end of that video that something was said about it, that, if you have stuff to heal, that's when you should do it. But she doesn't need anything healed, you know? And, um, but if you're floating around fine and you don't like sardines, don't eat them, But if you've got, like me, I have a ton of stuff going on, and I don't have a problem. I think I've said this before, is that if something meant that I would feel better and I would be able to walk and drive again and do everything I can do, and I only had to do one thing, and that one thing was to take a ball being hammer. I think I said that on Thomas's show. And you had to hit yourself in the finger once a day. Guess what I'm doing? I'm whacking myself on the finger every day, 365 days without a break, and I'm wearing a glove. I don't care. It's mind-boggling when you see somebody talking about all the problems and everything, and then somebody throws out something that could help them. I don't want to do that. Then you don't want to get better, You don't have to do everything forever.
Some more questions. Let's go through these. Kelly says, before refrigeration, salting meat like dry brine, dry aging was the only way to preserve meat.
Yep.
That checks. Okay, Meathead for Life is talking about a new carnivore at Brad _ S129. Please check. Are you talking about, let's all go check out his channel, Kurt, or is he in this? Is he in the stream? I'm not sure what you mean there. And then Ivy, send me an email, ketorockstars21@gmail.com, and I'll send you the information about the course. I'd love to have you. Aaron asks, I can say I had better results on a sardine fast than a normal one. That's the other reason why I didn't want to try the sardine fast. The minute everyone's doing these sardines fast, and then there's a shortage. And I'm like, why would I start a sardine fast when you can't get sardines?
I asked Dr. Paz that question, and she said, it's your numbers. If one of them you feel better doing it, do that, or check your numbers on the fast, and you'll be able to tell which one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how many cans do you eat a day on a fast?
When I start off, I usually start off with 3. I'm not eating like 6 or 7 in one setting, and 3 I'm full.
3
Yeah.
Once a day, or do you eat multiple times a day?
3 times a day with the sardines.
Okay.
And if I got hungry, I'd have another can, but I never get hungry. And then by the end of it's like that 21 day, some days I was eating 1 can or 2 cans, and I was full the rest of the day.
That's all. Okay, I'm going to consider doing this. Kelly, do you find fasting over a week as bad for you? I love fasting, but I get a lot of flack for it, so I try to do it in secret. I do too, Kelly. My husband thinks that I'm starving myself. He thinks that I'm like doing something bad when I fast. So, I understand that. I like the feeling of I don't like the feeling of being hungry. But I find I'm hungrier when I eat. The minute I have that first meal, I'm starved all day and I just want to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, even on carnivore. But I find that when I'm fasting, I'm hungry for a few seconds and it passes when I have a drink of water or some salt. I don't know what it is. So, what do you say to this?
On that, I think that can go back to the bigger thing of keto or carnivore. Luckily I haven't ever had that happen where I've had somebody go, that's stupid and this, but you're going to have to find that place in your head. If you're good with a longer fast, and you should be testing during that fast to see where you're at. And then that's nice. And
that's spanky, I'm sure.
And don't listen to them. You can't just block them out, and if it gets bad enough, say, I'm doing this. I don't want to talk about this anymore, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and explain why you're doing it. And if they continue, say, I'm not going to talk to you about this. But you have to do what's best for you. And I understand people's concern, but it's also concern that's brought by people that are selling you stuff, you know?
Yeah.
The machine doesn't want you to get better. It's like when everybody started doing stuff, they came up with all this keto stuff. You go in the store, keto bread and everything. Oh, that sounds great. I can do that, until you turn it over and you read the package and read the ingredients, and you're going, that's actually worse than the stuff it's replacing. Literally, it's 12 times worse and will make you sick. Don't do it. But
And
find that place in your head and stick to your guns. And if you have to get mad at them, get mad at them. What are they going to do? Walk off pouting? You know?
well, and in the case with my husband, sometimes we're on different eating schedules. He's retired, I work. I can't always eat with him. And so like I just don't talk about it. How the heck does he know if I didn't eat today? You know what I'm saying? Unless
Yeah.
we were going to have a meal we were going to have the meal together, and I could just say I'm good or something, like, but you just don't
There is a
announce it.
second
Don't
part of
make a
that.
big deal.
There is a second part of that. If you've had an eating disorder and they know it, they should have the right and they should be concerned, because
That's true.
you have to find your path. And if you've had previous problems, I would talk to somebody about that. Somebody that is a different pay grade than me, you know?
Well, and maybe in those cases, fasting maybe is not appropriate because
Yeah.
fasting for those people can turn into something else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It can turn into old habits.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so Amanda says, Amy, I really need to get in touch with you and bounce some things off of you about perimenopause more, and I do believe I've started last year. Girl, I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for me too, because I am figuring this out, right? So shoot me an email. I'd be happy to talk with you. Um, KetoRockstars21 at gmail.com. Uh, Ivy says, this is a good question. Does my egg milk coffee mess up my fast? Yes, it will kick you out of it will it's not considered fasting. Egg and milk. What do you say, Brian? I
On
say,
that,
I mean,
I've heard different opinions, but also on that egg in there, yeah, that's because there's calories in that.
mm,
But I've also known people that have uh, MCT oil and butter, and um, that's where we go back to testing. You have to see what your blood sugar's doing, what your
mhm,
ketones are
yep,
doing during that time, because like everything else, it affects different people. And me, it doesn't affect. Um, Now, I'm sure if I drank a quart of heavy cream during a fast, it would probably be no good, but also my numbers would show that. But during a long fast and you're having a hard time where you're going to quit, take a tablespoon of butter with salt, and that will keep you on track. And also test, because you'll find out where you're at. That's one thing I loved about Grandma's videos, is that first 2 weeks of her testing, because I remember having conversations with her and back and forth and stuff, and she looks absolutely wonderful
I
after it.
know.
And that 2 weeks gives you the time for your brain to wrap your head around it and see what's going on. Because if you don't test, you won't know. Test, don't guess, ever. And then also Erin, Booby Goats, on her videos and her exercises, her and Donna, and then her testing and stuff, go back to where she started with that and to now. She looks great too. So,
I know. I need to
yeah.
get back at it. I've been working too hard on other things.
I
Like,
wanna do that hoop thing. I want to do that like crazy, but that would only lead to one thing. Me with my face planted in the ground.
yeah. Yeah, don't do that, please. We need you here. We need you in tip-top conditions
I would be here,
for
but I'd
us.
be on the ground.
Uh, oh, here's a good one, Maritza. I'll let you explain this because I'm not well versed in sardine fast. So how does it actually work, Brian?
Well, a sardine fast is just like a water fast, but it's a different. I don't know the exact term for it, but um, it puts your body into ketosis, uh,
Hmm.
and you're not eating enough to what? How do I say this? You're not eating enough to
Spike your
spike,
insulin?
spike your insulin, and the little fish help with that, and it raises your ketones and the good fats and everything. If you can't do a standard fast, try a sardine fast or a mackerel or eggs, because there's different ways. And a good resource is Nita Breeze's channel, Ketogenic Woman, all the videos
Hmm.
on it, and she explains it 1,000 times better than I do. Um, or Dr. Boz has tons of videos, but when I do a sardine fast and I get down to 1 can, uh, I'm great. And the inflammation, and part of my brain stuff is inflammation. When I got sick 3 weeks ago, and it set off where I'm at right now, a lot of the bad time stuff. Um, I 100% believe it was inflammation from that. And but try it. And also, I know there's different brands, but Keto Mojo, and I know that it's expensive, but you can get the package deal with 70 strips and the tester and some other stuff for $99. And then the replacements, you can get them together for I think 59. But you don't have to test every day, that
No.
first week. And then if you're doing a fast, I don't do every day on a fast. I just do the beginning and middle and end because I want to know where I'm at.
And if you have an FSA or HSA, you can use that to pay for your strips, just saying.
Yeah.
So, oh, you're right, Spanky. Okay. Spanky says, what about whole carrot cake during a fast? Asking for a friend. Spanky, you're a hoot. Oh my gosh. And this is such a good point, Aaron. Aaron, the carnivorous guy, says Dr. Fun says if a splash of cream helps you fast longer, the benefit is so beneficial to be able to continue the fast. I think I would agree with that. And everybody's different. Now, if you're just drinking and
100%.
drinking, if you go through the whole carton in a day, that's probably not a good thing. But if you put a tablespoon in some coffee just because you're like, you gotta have something, fine. And that keeps you going, then yeah, I would agree with that too.
One of the best things I did when I first started DDP and going through all the literature and everything, Dallas talks about, you find your why. But another thing is you ask yourself, what do you want? And I do that all the time now. I think it's the best advice ever is I would write it on a sticky note and stick it on your refrigerator if that's your problem. What do you want?
Hmm.
Ask yourself, if I get in this refrigerator and I have 30 seconds of pleasure, is it worth 2 weeks of me having to deal with that 30 seconds? No, it's not. What do you want? I always ask myself, if I ever have a time where I'm behind the 8 ball, what do you want? And I want to thrive now. So thrive
Hmm.
outrules cravings every day.
Agreed. That's great advice. Okay, so we're almost going on 2 hours. Holy cow! I knew it would feel like 5 minutes with you because you're amazing. Okay, so talk about like your goals for coaching. Do you have social media? Where we can find you on social media? I don't. You don't have a YouTube channel yet, right? That's coming.
That's coming. Thanks to you.
Okay. Okay. So once you get your YouTube channel, once we get that all set up, I would love to have you back on so that we can do another stream so that we can get everybody in here to go over and subscribe to you. So, but can people find you anywhere yet on social media?
Facebook. the only place I'm at right now, and it's private, or not private, but you have to, you have to subscribe
Friend
before you get
requests.
in the door. And you do that, and I'm fine because I always look at the pictures and see who your friends are and all that. And because I've had trolls come on, and people that subscribe to a whole bunch of people, and they're just selling stuff, and I move them on. So I don't have a problem with you seeing what I am and what I do. I did when I first started, is I would have never that the the post on day 8 part 2, where I just said I'm going to show a picture of myself and I'm going to tell you my story. I didn't tell anybody that. That was personal, and it was cathartic. I let go of those demons, and I talk about that on the you read part 3. I talk a lot about that on part 2. Is one of the best things also that happened to me is I opened up that door, and I forgave that person. I won't forget it, but I forgave him. And I was also so thankful that my friends, my classmates, didn't have the same experience I did. Um, I I Jerry's clicking on stuff. And
Sorry, she messaged me. Yeah, this is Brian's Facebook page. I just wanted to show his picture so you could tell his profile.
oh, if
Sorry, I didn't
you
mean to.
if you want to click on that picture, it should show that whole picture. That's some of my art right above there.
This
No,
is your
no,
art?
no. Well, I did that, but the picture, the cover, yeah,
This
right
one.
there, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really good. You're really, oh, wow. So my sister, my oldest sister, who is your age, was an artist, and she did art like this too. The with the black. I don't even what medium is this? What do you call this?
That's just pen and ink
Pen. Yeah,
on paper. That is that
that's
picture of us was from the 4th of July, the year before the bad, or no, that yeah, or 2 years before the bad.
wow. That's great. I mean, the art. I'm talking about that. The picture's great too, but your artwork is incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you guys want to friend Brian, this is where you can find him. His YouTube channel will be coming soon. We're teaching some stuff on the class. The very next class is going to be how to start your YouTube channel. So hopefully, and make your first post. So hopefully, let's
Yeah,
see, the next class is Saturday. Next Saturday. So I'm going to show people how to like sign up for their YouTube channel and make a post. So, um, hopefully
in
within a week
that,
he'll have a YouTube channel.
yeah, uh, goals. And I can't believe I at the end of that post I wrote them down. I put once you put something from your
In
brain to
writing.
word, you put it in writing. And it kind of makes it where you have to do it, or you're going to catch some grief. And I'm not good at catching grief. And um, I want to have a YouTube channel, and to do that, I had to take Amy's class, and Amy's loving that I'm doing so good and all this stuff. Yeah, but in 2 weeks she's gonna go. Why did you break that? Why did you push that button? And what did you do? I can't fix that. Are you insane? You're fired.
No,
and
no,
and
no.
um, but I want a YouTube channel, and I want to make videos and content. I want to have lives and talk to people. I think it is the funnest thing in the world. And a year ago, I wouldn't have done it. I would have said, nope. I'll go to those, but no, I ain't going to do that. And I would love to have a YouTube channel with my wife. And the other greatest news ever, the best news ever, is this last Monday she started carnivore with me, and now I'm working on her to start DDP with me. So
Yeah.
my life has improved, and every day is a joy, and it's getting better. And then I was thinking about those posts is because a lot of people never go back and read and stuff. I want to write a book. And even if it's just for me, and I'm the only one that reads it, is I documented it. and I want to have my artwork in it. And then that goes to Valiant Val. She's going to write a book, and she reached
Hmm.
out the other day, and she's looking for artists to help her do some stuff. I need to visit with her,
That's
but
cool.
if you let the light in when you open that first door and you walk through it, because everybody can stand at that door closed and go, oh, I'm too afraid. I did that for years. If you open that door, guess what? There's going to be a hand on the other side, but you have to find that hand. That hand just isn't going to come to you. Find that hand, reach out and shake it. 100%. Be a better person. Help people. Do things. Don't be a miserable person. Don't go to chats and cause problems for other people. And that goes to Barb. Barb is a safe place. Barb, I released a lot of stuff that I would have never said out loud on her channel, and I didn't get made fun of, because I expect I have what's the word, dyslexia, where the words are jumbled. I think
Dyslexia. Yes.
dyslexia,
Mhm.
and I believe I have that. Um, if I wouldn't have reached out and let people into my life, I would be miserable, and most likely I wouldn't be here. So help somebody. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what. And if you're a mechanic, be the best mechanic ever, and teach a apprentice. You know, if your thing is you make a widget, be the best widget maker. You know,
Mhm.
be the best absolute person you can be. And like Amy, be a rock star. You know what? When Amy comes into the groups, it's like an instant smile comes over everybody's face, and I love that.
Oh,
I will never ever forget that.
oh, that's so
You
sweet. I
put
just love everybody because you know what? Everybody has helped me. I did this all on my own for, I want to say 7 or 8 years. I didn't even know there was a community out here, right? I
Yeah,
did not know there was a community. And then I went to a meetup. I went to Keto Palooza to meet Dr. Barry and Maria Emmerich, and that's where I met Dustin and a bunch of people. And I'm like, there's a whole like community in here I didn't know about. I was just doing this, figuring it out just from the doctor's videos for 8 years, and
yeah.
it
There's
just
some of the
it was
stuff I see
amazing.
is where there's like a little bit of feuding between carnivore and keto. No, don't cause that, because you know what? We're all on the spectrum. We all low carb, all the way up to that lion diet.
That's why I will
And
never change my channel name. I will never
no,
change it because carnivore is keto
yeah,
and people go in and out of carnivore. They have a pickle, they have some yogurt or well, cheat, that's all carnivore, but you know what I'm saying. They may have a pickle, they may have fermented cabbage or whatever, they may have something over the
don't
holidays. So what? So what? You
don't
know?
let perfection kill your joy. Um, I heard this great quote, and it's on one of my days, and it's from Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali was a world famous artist, and I think he died in '86. But he said, "Don't don't chase perfection. You'll never catch it." And you're thinking, okay, think about that though. Don't chase it, because you're never going to catch it, and it will
Mm-mm.
affect the rest of your days.
Wow, that is great advice. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's almost 9 o'clock. I always try not to step on Grandma's channel because that's my wind down for the evening. Oh my gosh, Brian, this has been such an amazing
You're
interview.
wonderful.
I can't wait for you to start. We got to accelerate this so you can just get going soon because
Yeah.
you're a natural. You're a natural at this and you're going to help so many people. I'm getting already
Well, you know
teary-eyed because
what?
it's like,
That's thanks to a lot of people. Lance, Aaron, Jerry. Jerry's the one that made me go out here. And a lot of those people on that list, Terry,
mm,
she's from the ketogenic woman group. And without everybody and the community, you have nothing. And I said that in that post is you need a tribe. Find your tribe. Live your life.
mhm. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Brian. And I'm going to have you back here soon when you get your channel up and running, and we'll push your first
Anytime.
live stream to it. And I'll give you a copy of this live stream so you can upload it to your channel. Okay.
Aw.
So I will send that to you tomorrow. It'll probably take 24 hours for it to render, and then I'll download it and I'll upload it and I'll send you a link and you can download it and put it on your computer, and then you can have your first video for your channel. And we're going to learn about that in a week. Okay, everybody. I'm going to go ahead. Bryan, thank you so much. I'm going to take you off the screen so I can do the rolling credits and acknowledge everybody. I love everybody who tunes in and week out. Thank you so much. And Bryan, thank you so much. You're so inspiring, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do. It's going to be great. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Bryan. Here we go. Everybody ready for the credits? Here we go, guys.
Oh, yeah. Lights fade low, the bacon's done. We rocked the stream and had some fun. Kids are rock stars in the rocking crew. Stay strong, we're gonna roll with you. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. We're gonna keep rolling on. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. Rocking till the credits roll.